Hi, I'm Pete Schellenbach, culinary specialist with Vulcan, and I'm here in the test kitchen today with a couple of absolutely beautifully, evenly baked trays of cookies. And today I'm going to talk to you about how these cookies were baked, the oven that I used to bake them, and also then talk about a way to hold them warm with our Vulcan heated holding. So let's get started. So now I'm here in front of the VC4 and the VC5, and I want to talk a little bit about the construction of the VC5 and just how easy it is to clean this oven. One of the most important aspects of the VC5 is how easy it is to clean. All of the components, interior components, are grab-and-go racks, the drip tray easily removed for cleaning. If I remove everything, obviously it makes a very spacious place for me to get in and scrub the sides down. Any commercial oven cleaner will work fine in the VC5. One of the things that makes it so easy to clean is our patented removable doors. So I can show you that there's a little notch cut out here in the roof of the oven, and that allows me to lift the doors off and take them to the dishwasher. So if I've got a very easy to clean door and a door window, what that does is it enables me to continuously see the product that I'm cooking. So I'm less likely to have a product that gets overcooked. One of the most important things to me about our Vulcan VC5 convection oven is the incredible performance that you get out of this piece of equipment. So I'm going to show you a couple reasons why the performance is so good. The biggest reason that the performance is so great in these ovens is the way that the fan is constructed in the back of the oven. Most convection ovens have the fan sort of inset into a space in the back oven wall. That's fine for maximizing cavity space, but what the problem with that is that it restricts the airflow. In the Vulcan VC5 and VC4 and the Vulcan SG, all of our convection ovens have a fan that is completely in front of the back wall of the oven. That means that all of the fan blades are exposed and I get much better airflow through the cavity. We also have our snorkel design, which moves the hot air that's being generated by the oven more efficiently through the cabinet. The combination of the snorkel and the fully exposed fan means that I don't have to do things like rotate pans, which is so frequently a problem with convection ovens. I get much more even baking, top to bottom, front, back, left, right, all because of the way that this oven is designed. Reliability is an important factor in every kitchen, every piece of equipment. You need it to work every day, all day, regardless. And the reliability of the VC5 is pretty legendary. We are industry leading in the quality and design of our pieces of equipment across the entire Vulcan line, but the VC5 especially is a great, reliable, anchor of the kitchen. Some of the features that are engineered in are these cool touch handles. So the handles are always cooler, so they're less likely to get burned when I'm using the oven. We also have our fantastic grab-and-go racks. If you see this little indentation here in the front of every rack, that allows my hand to be able to firmly get a grip on a sheet tray as I pull it out. So that sounds like a small thing, but I'm telling you, when you go from grab-and-go racks back to regular racks, you will notice it because you'll keep burning your hand on the edge of the rack. I've also, as I mentioned before, the incredible airflow that is in this oven because of the design. The engineering that has gone into the VC5 allows you to know that you're gonna get years of reliable service and high quality product coming out of this oven. All right, so now I'm gonna turn on the VC5. I'm actually gonna cook some cookies to show you how even the bake is. But what I wanna do first is turn it on. And it's a very, very simple analog control, very positive feel to it. When I click it on, it definitely is on. Below that, I can see that the oven is on and it is currently heating because the heat light is lit up. I'm gonna go ahead and set my temperature at 350 degrees. And it's very easy to read with this digital control. Also down here, I have a fan switch here on the left for low and high speed. And I also have an interior cabinet light that I can turn on and off as I wish. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and let the oven preheat. I'm gonna turn the fan back up to high and let it get ready to bake these cookies. So now that our VC5 is up to temperature, I'm gonna go ahead and load in the cookies and we're gonna see how evenly they cook. And now that my cookies are loaded, all I have to do is set a timer. I've got a very easy to read digital timer. I'm gonna set it for 10 minutes and we're off to the races. You'll notice I had the door open for a quick second while I loaded the cookies, but the power of the VC5 is such that it's gonna spring right back up to its preset temperature. Talking about that power it's an important thing. It's great to have a ton of power, but it's not great to waste any energy. All of Vulcan's convection ovens, all 3 series, are Energy Star rated. That means that we're getting the maximum efficiency possible for this piece of equipment. As a matter of fact, the VC5 holds the highest rating from Energy Star in its class of commercial convection ovens. When it comes to power versus performance, a lot of our competitors, in order to get their performance numbers up, have BTU ratings of 70 to 90,000 BTUs. We generate the same level of performance in our VC5 using only 50,000 BTUs of energy. If you step up to the SG oven, you do get an extra 10,000 BTUs, so you get more power in the SG, but you also get a special bake mode where the fan goes to an ultra low setting so you can safely bake light pastries, things like that, things with puff dough that with a stronger fan it would blow them around. But the SG is 10,000 BTUs stronger, and that is primarily used in full-scale baking operations. So as I take my cookies out of my VC5, you can see that they're very evenly baked across the entire surface of the tray. And the other thing to notice is how easy it is to grab these trays because of the grab and go rack. You see I've got this space here where I can just grab the edge of the sheet tray and pull it out. One other thing to mention about the VC5 as far as its controls, its power controls go, I've got a cool mode where I can switch it down to cool, and that will leave the fan on but turn the heat off. So it will speed the oven cooling down to let my crew get off the clock a little bit faster. I talked about it a little bit as I was doing the cookies, but I want to stress that we have 3 different models of convection ovens at Vulcan. We have the VC5 that I cook the cookies in that I've been talking about. We also have the VC4 just underneath. The VC4 has analog controls, whereas the VC5 has the digital. The structure of the oven is very similar to the VC5. The difference is primarily in the controls. Then we also have the SG, and I mentioned that before. The SG is primarily for full-scale baking operations. It does have 10,000 extra BTUs of energy at its disposal to make sure that the cabinet stays at a very, very even temperature all the time, even with door opening and closing. That extra BTU energy will bring the oven, the recovery back up very, very quickly. And it also has a bake mode for the fan, as I mentioned before, that will slow the fan down to the point where it won't blow lightweight pastries around the inside or cause food to bend as it's cooking. Very frequently, we talk about the Vulcan equipment that makes food hot, right? How you cook things, our fryers, our ovens, things like that. But very frequently, an operation will function better if you have the ability to hold that food hot. And that's what Vulcan heated holding does extraordinarily well. All right, the first piece of Vulcan holding equipment I want to discuss is actually a cook and hold cabinet. This is our VCH16. It is a 16 shelf cook and hold cabinet that can reach temperatures as high as 400 degrees to get good caramelization and good browning on the outside of food. And then it can be programmed to immediately go into a holding phase. We can hold at temperatures as high as 200 degrees, which is different in the industry. Most holding cabinets don't get that hot. It is completely programmable. I can program 3 different programs in my cook and hold for different types of meat like prime rib or turkeys, that kind of thing. It's got Dutch doors because If I have to open the entire door, I lose all of the heat energy that I've built up inside, but by being able to only open half the cabinet at one time, I conserve the heat energy that's inside. It has a very low speed fan, and the benefit there is that I don't shrink product as much. I've got enough fan to circulate air and keep an even temperature profile within the cabinet, but I don't have so much air blowing across the top of the food that it causes the food to dry out. The Vulcan VCH16 cook and hold will be perfect in a large scale operation like a hotel, that kind of operation where they need large amounts of food that can be cooked and held in the same cabinet, which obviously saves floor space for you. All of our Vulcan cook and hold equipment is made with 20 gauge stainless steel for increased durability, and that is 20 gauge stainless outside and on the interior. They're completely stainless. So they have that legendary Vulcan reliability built right in. So next in our lineup is the VBP15. The VBP15 differs from the cook and hold because it doesn't get as hot. It is simply a holding cabinet. It has digital controls, so it's very easy to set and to see from a distance. It also, like all of our heated holding equipment, is clad in 20 gauge stainless steel, both outside and inside. The other thing that it has is universal pan holders. So that means I can hold a full-size sheet pan as well as different sized hotel pans in the cabinet. It also has Dutch doors. You see that I've got an upper and a lower door. That means that I don't have to open one huge door and lose all that heat energy when I only need to open it to get one tray out. So as long as I know where that tray is, I can open that side of the cabinet and get that tray. It's got a very gentle fan that circulates the air to make sure that I've got an even temperature profile top to bottom in the unit. And also to hold that even temperature throughout the cabinet, I have an 1.5 inches of insulation on the sidewalls and a 2-inch layer of insulation across the top. It is a perfect heated holding cabinet for a fast-paced restaurant that needs to hold to restock a line or to keep like a grab-and-go area restocked. So the target customer is somebody with a fast-paced operation that is doing a cook and hold environment where they have cooked food, need to hold it, and then go get it instantly for service. All right, next up is one of my favorite pieces of holding equipment. It's our Vulcan drawer warmer. It comes in 3 sizes. I can get a single, a double, or a triple drawer, a 3-drawer like this one. Each drawer has independent temperature controls and monitoring. It's got 1 inch of insulation all the way around the entire cabinet, so it helps to hold the internal temperature steady. But the most exciting thing to me is, and something that I think should have been figured out a long time ago, is the way that the pans fit in the drawers. So I can put a full-size hotel pan like this. But in that same drawer, I can also put 3 third pans. I've got 2 to show you because it's got a notch here for third pans. I also have notches in the drawer for half-size pans. So what that means is this drawer is constructed to hold 3 different sizes of pans, and I don't have any of those drawer supports that constantly fall out, fall down inside the equipment, fall on the floor, get pushed behind. All of that is gone with this engineering, and that's why this is my favorite piece of Vulcan holding equipment, because the engineering was so smart to be able to put multiple pans in the same space. The last piece of Vulcan holding equipment I want to talk about is our chip warmer. It is just the kind of thing that every Mexican restaurant, every Tex-Mex restaurant should have in its lineup. It holds tortilla chips at a perfect serving temperature, nice and warm, but because of the way it's engineered, it always does first in, first out for you because it's top loading. The shape of the inside allows the chips to slide forward, and it has a warm environment with a very low speed fan to keep the air circulating, but not dry out the chips. What I mean by first in, first out is when I open the top, I'll fill this hopper with chips. You can see that it's got the convection fan inside. And then when I need chips, they come this way to the front. I pull out the basket of chips, close the door, keeps the chips warm through service. Then at the end of service, all of the chip warmers that we have, and this is, by the way, the smallest one we have, but all of our chip warmers then completely disassemble for cleaning. So this piece comes out, the front panel on the larger ones comes off, everything can be sent through the dishwasher because it's all this 20 gauge stainless steel. It's very, very easy to keep clean, keep it back to this mirror-like finish. You can see that it's a mirror finish because there I am waving at the camera. And the chip warmer, like I said, is absolutely perfect in every Mexican restaurant. Anybody who's serving hot tortilla chips needs this chip warmer. Thanks so much for joining us for another episode of our a la carte videos. Today we talked about Vulcan convection ovens and Vulcan heated holding. I've got these two very evenly baked trays of cookies in front of me, and they're so even because of the great engineering in the Vulcan VC5 convection oven, which carries through to all of our Vulcan ovens, where the fan is placed in front of the back wall as opposed to inset into the back wall, which means greater air circulation. What that means for me as an operator, though, is that I don't have to go open the door, turn the trays to get a very even bake. After they were cooked in the VC5, then they went into the VBP15 heated holding cabinet to keep them warm for service. If you have any questions about Vulcan ovens or Vulcan heated holding, please feel free to reach out to either your local manufacturer's rep or to Chris Cook, who is the business development manager for ovens and heated holding. Thanks so much.